it's obvious that there's a problem. What do we need to quickly start doing to turn around the situation? What must we start doing? What can be done? I'll share a few tips with you. The tips are many, but I'll try to just run through very quickly the few tips I have. For many of you, I saw your responses to the question. Many of you are business people. You started earning money, either side hustle or full time. So you're making money. What is your pricing like? You must go back to your pricing model. Go and look at your pricing. Are you really making money? That's why I asked you, if you see a financial report, do you understand it? Do you know how much you should make? How much should you sell per day? How much sales should you make to be able to break even? Do you know? And then if you know, are you pricing appropriately? And here's another thing people do when they come to pricing. They price across board. I don't do across board pricing. I'll give an example. Uh, uh, for those of you who follow Emeka Nobis on social media, if you go back to his old posts, you see where he's mentioned me several times. I met Emeka Nobis, and I'll talk about how I met him in another example. But I am his financial planner. And the reason I'm saying it is because he has put it out there. I am extremely confidential about my clients. I will not say who my client is if my client hasn't given me express authority to do so. So Emeka has given his express approval, and he's even gone ahead to post. He's always talking about me on social media. So how did I get to price Emeka? When Emeka approached me to set up his financial plan, he asked me for my fees, and I said to him, I am not going to bill you in naira. And he said no, that he must pay me. I said yes, I understand, because if you understand value, you shouldn't be asking for free things. And I said, no, you're not. I'm not going to do your financial plan for free. I need money, but you will not pay me in naira and kobo. You will pay me in visibility. So my pricing, I wanted a situation where I will keep earning from Emeka long after and then I used to charge 50,000 naira. That 50,000 naira, I would have, in fact, even the fossil of the thought of the 50,000 would have gone. But I charged him in visibility. So I asked him, you will pay me with with comments, you pay me with putting me out there. I want to connect with your audience. And that's how Emeka paid me. He was fine with it. So ask yourself, how am I pricing? A commissioner is coming to buy your fruit cake, and you are giving him the same price with a vulcanizer. Are you okay? Are you serious? When you can get so much more, and remember, when I'm talking about pricing, it's not just money. You need to look at your pricing and ask yourself, how do I earn more from where I am? With this class is a very short class, so I can't dwell too much, but I'll just be giving you tips, and I hope you can read between the lines. So you need to go back and look at your pricing model. Number two, you need to be earning digitally. See, if you're not earning money in the digital space, forget it. I'll use myself as an example. When I quit my job, I didn't plan on this whole digital thing. I didn't even know what it was. I mean, I came from core banking. I planned to have an office. If you see my first complimentary card, oh God, if you feel it, I had plans. If you see my brand, I had agreements, offices that I was going to use. I lovely ideas. And then COVID struck and told me that all of that were nonsense. What did I quickly do? I had to quickly pivot and then relaunch. And which is why you're now seeing me doing all of this. I never used to do this. But if I hadn't done that, I'd have gone on. I'll probably have gone back to paid employment. But my ability to pivot, my ability to begin to use digital platforms to earn money is what has saved me. And it's why we're connecting like this today. So ask yourself, am I making money in the digital space? If you are not, please go and start. This is not the time to say, but I don't have. This is not the time for excuses. It's not the time. And everything we're saying today is not about making excuses. If you want excuses, you will always find one. If you want to make a way, if you have the will, you will always find a way. So it depends on what you want. But remember, the consequences of the actions you take or do not take today will be felt in the future, just as you are feeling the consequences of the actions you did not take in the past today. So, are you making money from from digital space. And look, it's not a question of, oh, I earn 5,000 today, tomorrow I don't earn, next tomorrow I don't earn, the after tomorrow I don't earn, next week I don't earn, the next time I earn. And then I will ask you, are you making money from the digital space? You say yes. You're just deceiving yourself. For you to be said to be earning money, it has to be stable, it has to be steady. So go back and ask yourself, how can I convert my knowledge? How can I convert my experience? How can I convert even the products I'm selling? How can I play in the digital space? I need to make money from digital products. Number three, you need to understand your expenses. This is not the time to say, I think I spend. No, you need to know your expenses, know your numbers. And your expenses are your, after your income, your expenses are your, in fact, your expenses are even far more important than the income. So, because you will still spend, whether you make money or not. By being alive, you're spending money. You need to understand your expenses. So I see people who say, um, just dash me 5,000 naira. And I said, just for me to be able to give you 5,000 naira, I have to sell at least 20 products to be able to make enough profit to break even and then have enough to spare. My budget cannot even accommodate it. So if I'm giving it to you, it is not just, it falls under a header because I understand my expenses and I am constantly fighting the tide of inflation and FX rates. So you need to understand your expenses. How do I spend money? What's the cycle? Do I pay fees in this month? Do I make money from this? Have I been making from here, but I'm not? You need to understand how does money leave my hand? If you own a car, for instance, you need to understand that your expense is not servicing. Your monthly expense is not servicing. Your monthly expense is not fueling. Your monthly expense is not to change fuel filter. That's not your monthly expense. Your monthly expense is the cost. You have depreciation in that expense. You have change of tires. So even if you're changing your tires every 2 years, there's a cost every month to tire replacement. If you're going to spray the car every 4 years, you need to fix that, factor that in. If you're changing wipers, etc., etc., if you're changing the foot mount, all of that is under asset maintenance, and there's a cost to it. When you appropriate appropriately, you will understand better. But when you don't understand your expenses, when they start coming up later, they come like a tidal wave. So understand your expenses and know how they flow. Number four, you need to start cutting back. This is not the time to say, I beg, I'm used to this life, I cannot kill myself. I've not heard, Nigerians are the only ones who say that nonsense. And it's put us where we are. The people who sang, I can't kill myself, they have investments, they have fixed income, they have sources of revenue. You can't kill yourself truly, but please save so that you don't kill yourself in the future. This is the time to say, I'm going to set up a meal plan. And I'm talking to women here. This is not the time to say, do we have yam at home? Let's eat yam this evening. No. Upfront, you should know we are in the pink potato season. This is the time to incorporate potato into your diet. If the children don't like it, find lovely menus that can incorporate it. This is not the time to say, oh, this is not what I want to eat. I want to eat cereal. This is not that time. You must plan your expenses upfront and begin to cut back on things that you do not need. I'll give you an example. In my house, my children are very selective about the type of bread they eat and what they eat bread with. Now, bread is staple. We never used to really eat bread for breakfast. It used to be really nice cereal, but now bread is staple. But if you allow these children to eat bread and fried egg, for instance, you will fry more egg. You will use more vegetables. You will use more tomato, pepper, and all of that. So what did I discover? I've realized that if I use 2 eggs and I make a an omelette sandwich, I use far less eggs. What does this mean? Just put the 2 slices of bread in the toaster. Put a little egg on top of the bread. Cover it and toast it. It comes out amazing. You use far less egg. You don't use butter. The children enjoy it because it just tastes really exotic. So to them, I've done something really nice. To me, I know I have cut back on cost. You reduce the amount of vegetable oil you use, etc., etc. This is the time to start incorporating varieties into their menu because children, especially when they are growing, they can be very selective and they can eat a lot. Now we have entered holiday season. You will see something when it comes to feeding. So this is the time to start becoming creative and start cutting back on your expenses. Number 5, you need to pay attention. Pay attention to people's needs. The money you are looking for is in someone's pocket. That person will give you the money if you respond to his need, if you give him value, right? People have needs right now. I keep saying, hearing people say there are no jobs, things are hard. It's not true. People have, I'll give you an example. I was on my own, minding my own business, when someone reached out to me from the UK saying, could I translate a document to Pidgin English for him? And he was going to pay me £1,000 for it. And I said, oh, I wish I had the time because it would have required a lot of time. It was a very academic document. I said, oh, I wish I had the time. I looked for people to translate. I couldn't find anybody. Even the radio, I had to go to radio stations. Nobody, because those people who already have jobs were busy. We couldn't find the time. Eventually, he found someone somewhere else. So this is the time to listen, pay attention. People are looking for things. People are, but will they remember you? What are you known for? When someone wants something serious done, do they remember you? I'll give another example. Last week, I think I was in Uyo. I went for a training that did not concern me. I was not part of the initial. I wasn't even in the the faculty team. But why was I invited? The owner of the training said, "Look, the course is a very technical course. The chances are people are going to sleep. Your training style, you incorporate a lot of humor. You are able to use a conversation style for your trainings. I need you to come and make this training interesting. Training that did not concern me. Serious government training. But they invited me. Why? Because they found out that there was a need and they remembered me from something they had seen me do. So ask yourself, are you putting yourself out there? What do people remember you for? And what is the need that if it comes up, my name is the first name that will come to people's mouth? Start to build that brand. Number 6, if you cannot hear their needs, create the needs in their mind, highlight the needs in their mind. This is not the time to say, I'll give you an example. If I make banana bread, right? Banana bread is actually cake. It is expensive. This is not the time to be eating cake. This is the time to be eating yam, boiled yam with red oil, based on the economy. But it's not true. There are people who still want to eat, banana bread. There are people who want treats. It is my job as a banana bread baker to remind them that they need to enjoy life. My work is to create the need in them. Oh, sir, you have worked so well. Your children have clues for the term. I heard your boy won so many awards. He deserves a treat. I know this is not his birthday, but my banana bread is simply amazing. And I'm running a discount. If you eat my banana bread, you'll never forget it. Please give this to your son, and I'll toss in a little gift for him. That is your work, to create the need. And there are many needs. People still want to look beautiful. People still want to feel good. There's another training entirely for that. How to create some sense of need from the market for your product. This is the time. You need to learn to start creating the need. Number 7, you must start to have practical alternatives. Everything you are spending money on today has a cheaper alternative. It has a more practical alternative. Please look for it and start doing it. Number 8, you need to okay, I'm going to give an example. On this call, right, we have about 20 people on this call. If I run another training next week, it's the same 20 people that will be on the call. In another 2 years, it's the same 20 people. Do you know what's going to happen? You make more money, but you see that money, the people that are not on this call will put pressure on it. And you have those people in your families. This is the time to ensure that you carry your family alone. People that will have the tendency to become dependents tomorrow or become liabilities. Why are you the only one undergoing financial planning training? Why are you not carrying them along? If you get trained and you break out of the poverty mode, or you break out of financial crisis, or you break out of dependent mode, they will keep keeping you under pressure because they don't know. This is the time to ensure that your entire family becomes aware and remains aware and moves with you as well, so that we don't keep dragging each other backwards. Okay? Number 9, you need to start plowing back into saving. So when you save money, so Number 9 is saying plow back savings into savings. For instance, if you used to spend 1,000 naira on breakfast and now you've cut it down to 600 naira, that 400 naira difference is not available for you to go and buy Mary Kay. No. Plow it back, treat it like a windfall and plow it back into savings because it will save you tomorrow. Savings will save you. So remember to plow back anything that you have saved. Number 10, be patient, especially with your financial plan. You didn't get where you are today in one day. Why do you want to get the miracle in one day? What I see a lot with many people is you set up an investment and the next thing you hear, inflation is 20%. Oh, no, 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 no. I have to go and cancel my investment. You panic and then you make very bad decisions. There's a reason. You had a plan. That's why it's a plan. You don't start building a house with a foundation and then you see someone else's house and say, no, 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 I want to change my house. It will show that you're not a serious person. Stick to your plan. There's a reason. You can always put the add-ons later, but stick to your plan. Be patient. These times will pass. This world has had depression, it has had recession, it has had stagflation, it has had everything. It will pass. The world, you can blossom in a recession. Don't, because of the noise, get distracted and start panicking. And that takes us to number 11. Don't panic. Be calm. But you can't be calm if you don't have a plan. You can't be calm if you don't stick to your plan. Be calm. Follow the plan. There's a reason. Ask yourself, how do I make money from the crisis and from the noise? Number 12, you must learn to collaborate. How collaborative are you? This is not the time to say you can do it alone. You only have effectively 8 to 14 hours in a day. How much money can you make in 14 hours? By the way, how much money do you make per hour? I didn't ask that question. It's usually part of the questions. How much money do you make per hour? Do you know? How much should you make? You can't make it on your own. You need people to make it. For instance, I'm going to be in Lagos tomorrow for the Dominate Your Business tour that Emeka Novis and Nnamdi Ibe are having in Lagos. I will be there. I paid money to collaborate with them. Why? Because we can't do it alone. All of us cannot do it by ourselves. There are places where they collaborate with me, and so on and so forth. Then ask yourself, who can I collaborate with to make the journey easier so that we all win? Because synergy means that the summation of the parts is much more, the whole is much more than the summation of the individual parts. Okay. Number 13, you must begin to lean your operations. This one I don't need to explain too much. Start leaning. Are you paying rent for a space you are not using? Why are you paying rent? Do you really need that space? Do you need that much space? How many staff do you have? Do you really need that number of staff? Are they performing? Are they productive? This is the time to ask. You're running 5 air conditioners in your office. Why? When people occupy only one room. Those are the kind, you must begin to lean your operations and run a very efficient system. Number 14, you need to know your numbers. Productivity, cost per staff, your overheads, all of those. You need to sit down with your numbers, understand balance sheet, understand profitability, understand cash flow. This is not the time to say, maths is not my strong point, but money is your strong point. So treat it as maths. You must, even if you don't know any other arithmetic, understand the business of your numbers. Number 15, you must upskill and monetize. I am sad to see on social media today, young people, in fact, many of them call themselves public speakers, and I am appalled at the quality of nonsense that comes out of their mouth. And they're public speakers. They are not public speakers, but that's what they have called themselves. And people patronize them. But here's the thing, there's a limit to how far they can go. I'll give an example. Today, I was on my way to an event, and someone called me to ask how much I charge for editing. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't do editing. I simply don't have the time. I said, but I thought you do editing. I'm always seeing you post things about, and I hear you speak and all of that. I said, no, I don't. But you've written books. Who was your editor? But I don't want someone else to. In fact, I've edited books where I had to edit again. But that's a story for another day. I've also done editing work in the past, but it's not something I want to do today, even if you're going to pay me for it. Why? Why am I saying this? People have reached out to me thinking that I could offer a service based on how they perceive me. So you need to ask yourself, what skill do I have and how can I raise it? How can I improve on it and make it sellable? You need to also learn how to sell. Even if you don't take anything out of this training we're having today, if you don't learn anything, take away from this, you must learn how to sell and learn how to sell properly. It's not about just posting on status. It's not about just flooding people's faces and timelines. No, you need to be strategic and you need to sell across platforms. I see people only focusing on selling in the digital space. What's happening to your offline space? You must learn face to face marketing. You must learn digital marketing. You must learn different types of marketing. You must learn how to sell in a variety of ways so that you can earn from many places. And that brings us to number 17. You need to earn from many places because you don't know the one that will save you tomorrow. I've been in situations where an investment that I didn't even censor was what saved me. For instance, I was booking a flight. The flight moved from 50,000 to 70,000. That differential came from a business that I had forgotten, and that's what it means when your you have many pies in the oven. Okay. Number 16, you must learn. Sorry, number 18, you must upgrade your network. Please, if your network does not have people who are lifting you up, who are making you earn more, who are encouraging you to be more, please upgrade your network. 10 children will not play in the same play field for 10 years. Sometimes you outgrow your friends. Try not to be the superstar in your circles. It means you have outgrown that circle. Move to a circle that will challenge you to do more and do better. Number 19, your mindset. This is probably the most important thing you need to work on. Your mindset. You must have the mindset that says, these are tough times, but I will excel. Yes, everybody is jackpying, but people are prospering in this land. And then even if you jackpot, if you don't have a plan, you will hear me and you can't come back. The problem will go in abroad. When you've burnt those bridges, you cannot come back. Because what are you coming back to? So you must be strategic. You must have a plan. Even if you want to exit the Nigerian stage, ask yourself, how am I going to, even when I go there, what am I going to do? Do you understand the laws? Do you understand the tax laws? Do you understand the cost of living? You must look at those numbers and be strategic. But it all starts with your mindset. You must be able to say, I will do it, I will conquer it, I will excel, I will bloom, I will blossom, and then watch the laws of the universe play in your favor. Sorry, I'm going to just run through so that I can take a couple of questions. Number 20, be willing to pay for, there are so many, but I just want to do a few of them. Be willing to pay for value. And women, oh yeah, you are the culprits. Women don't like to pay. I'll give it an example. I Most of what I learn online are things I train on. I'm a trainer. I've been training for years, but I pay for value. I'll give an example. Trisha Biz just did a challenge, 1,000 naira. I paid. Niger Branch is running a program. I've paid for it. Someone else will pay. I paid. You will see me. Do you think I'm just throwing money around? No, it's strategic. Tomorrow, when you wake up and you just say, "Oh, I knew when this lady started. See how she has grown." Nobody grows like that. It's not true. Everyone you see who has blown on social media or blown in real life, there was strategy somewhere. Either strategy from their end or from some other end. It is value. You must be willing to pay for value. And if you cannot pay with money, you should be able to pay with time. You must money value exchanges itself. There are things that nobody will ever tell you for free. It's like this class. There are some things I can never tell you. If you like, ask the question. I'll say, well, you see, the story. Because I can give free information up to a point. Because it's information, it's value. If you want more, you must be willing to part with more. But if you hold your hand like this, and this is for women, I don't have this challenge with men. If you keep holding your hand, like the only thing that will remain in that hand is the one in the fist. You must be able to say, okay, this is what I want, and I'm going to pay for it, and I will get it. That is how wealth is created. Which brings me, I said I was going to give an example. Emeka Nobis. How did I get to meet Emeka Nobis? I didn't know him from Adam, but he came to do a presentation, and I realized he had a network from people. And I said I was going to tap into his network via his network. But he was selling his books. I bought all the books he sold that day, all of them. Immediately I did that, it endeared me to him, and I gained access to him. Guess what? I bought 4 books. Those books, I'm not sure they were up to 16,000. That's 4 or 5 books. I think that's about 16,000. I paid for the books. Was it because I wanted to read books? My shelf is full of books. It was that's why I was paying for the books. I wanted to have access to him. Yes, the books are nice. They will always be there, but he will not always be there for me. So I needed to gain access. And I paid for his book. Immediately I paid for the books, I got access. And by getting access, what happened? He now wanted to pay for my services were 50,000 naira at the time. Look at it. I invested in quotes 16,000. It had yielded 50,000. And I said I didn't want 50,000, meaning that I now was reinvested 50,000. I cannot count how much I have made from Emeka Dobbins. I cannot count. When he influences for me, I cannot count. I really cannot count. If you tell me to put Naira and Kobo, I can't count. And I will keep earning from him. That is what happens when you give in expectation as an investment. Okay? So those are 20 tips I have, and it has brought us to 758. The tips are over 50, there are many. But I hope that these few ones I have given, let me throw in a couple of them. One other one, invest in yourself. Invest in your own self, your personal development. As people will say, oh, I'm very good at this. Please, you're not very good at anything. There's a lot more you can learn. I'll give an example. I am a public speaker. I've been training since 19 in Moriba, since Obi was a boy. But I belong to an organization called Toastmasters International. $100, about $90 every year to renew my Toastmasters membership. For 2 clubs, it's $180 to continue to improve on public speaking skills. I have clients in Egypt and in Saudi Arabia whom I teach, not face to face, virtually. I teach them public speaking. What they pay me is more than what I use for Toastmasters. Why would they pay me? Because they know I belong to a brand. I have been certified public speaker by Toastmasters International. Not that I called myself, no. An international brand has certified me. I invest, and I am still learning. I am still a Toastmaster till today. I am still learning. Even though I have been certified over and again, I am still learning because knowledge is constantly being upgraded. You must invest in yourself if you want to earn top dollar. If not, you will keep earning peanuts. But if you want to play in the big space, you must invest in yourself. And the last tip I'll share, because it's 8 o'clock on the dot, never become complacent about money. Never. I see a lot of people say, oh, please, I don't need financial. I know a lot of people say, I don't need financial planning. I'm fine. I have big investments. I'm good. So I look at you and say, what? You have $1 million? You have $1 million means that you've not seen who can spend $1 million. We know people in this town, I don't want to mention names, who were billionaires in the 80s. Today, there's no shadow of that wealth. Their children are impoverished. In fact, some of the children even approach me for money, and I just wonder that you are wealthy today does not mean you'll be wealthy tomorrow. That you are struggling today does not mean you will not be wealthy tomorrow. Wealth is not a respecter of your present status. In one deal, what's his name? This Tesla guy, Elon Musk can lose all of his net worth in one deal, one bad deal, or one case, or one judgment. That is how transient wealth can be. So never become complacent. Never say, I beg, I already know this one. Waiting she won't talk. It's not true. I still attend trainings, even though I'm a trainer on financial planning. I still attend. I pay to attend training because I want to constantly be on the cutting edge of value. With these few points of mine, I hope those tips, if you can begin to implement them, will help you. Now, before I hand over to you for questions, and by the way, if you have some questions, you can begin to put them in the chat box so we can quickly take them. For everyone on this call, I have an offer for you if you want to take the next step. There's a book I wrote. For some of you already have it. This book. Let me look for it. Okay. So this book, Make Your Money Make Sense. It's on Seller. I'll just share my screen with you now. Sorry. Can you see my screen yet? Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So let me just share my screen with you so you can see it. Okay. So I'll just look at Okay, this book is on Seller. It's an ebook. You see this book, it can turn your life around. The 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 budgeting templates I shared with you is on this book. This book ideally is 2,500, but as of today, it's going for 1.5 on Seller because I'm going to make an offer of it very soon. But if you're on this call and you want this book for 1,000 naira, after the class, you send me a message and I'll give it to you for 1,000 naira only for tonight. After tonight, it goes, but you can't even access it anyway except you go and pay Seller and they'll give it to you. But if you want it for 1,000 naira, I'll give it to you and I will give you the soft copy of the budgeting template. Okay. Now I have several other books. There's this one. These are my books. These are all paperbacks, but you can get them online. But you see this book, you see this course, the 2-in-1 course. This is the course I've been referring to. If you have not started this course, some people have even paid and have not been able to finish it because the modules are so heavy. It is loaded back to back. If you don't know what investment to invest in, you don't understand bonds, you don't understand treasury bills, you keep hearing things like fixed deposit, you don't know what it means, real estate, how do I play in real estate, so cook funds, all of those technical terms, please go and get this course. Then your financial plan, if you cannot pay me, I charge 100,000 for financial planning. But I have also done the financial planning DIY where you can do it by yourself. I have shown you step by step. You will bring out the paper. I will tell you what to do. You will sit down and you will do it by yourself. These two courses cost 20,000 naira. But as of tonight, they go for 7,500 naira. And this discount will remain to August because it's an offer I want to give to a group of people. So those are the two offers I have for you tonight if you want to take this to the next step. But again, if you are in this class and you want to play in the digital space, you want to start converting your earnings, I will introduce you to Theodora. She is part of the reason why I am making a lot of money from the digital space. All of the things you see happening here are done by Theodora's firm, Chief Africa. If you want to really take your digital game to the next level, get in touch, send me a message or send an email to the mail you received, and I will refer you to Theodora. She has a course going on right now, and she has a fantastic offer. In fact, let me look for that course, and I'll just read it out to you right now. Okay. So Theodora is offering. Sorry, I have to keep remembering that it's Steve Africa. Steve Africa is offering a 21-day task-based digital marketing course for 35,000 naira, but she's going to give you for 10,000 naira if you are in this class. You don't want to know how much these people make from digital space. 5,000 naira for a flyer, for some flyers, 10,000 naira. There's too much money in the digital space. So if you are serious and you want to take up on any of these offers, those offers are on the table. And this brings me to the end of today's conversation. Thank you very much. Please make some noise for me if you learned anything or if you gained anything.